So good morning and welcome to our next video. So last video we had our activity on our Mendeley desktop application. So in that application, you're able to search various articles of your particular topic. And from there, you can already find different studies with different results and different approaches to answer the problems. All right, so for this activity, we'll be doing a literature review matrix. So for this activity, you are required to read at least 15 articles or topics or different articles or studies presented on your Mendeley. You can also browse over other sources if you want, but try to look into one specific topic in your research agenda and look for possible keywords, and you may browse it directly into Mendeley. Okay, so you need to read at least 15 articles or journal articles or publications that is focused on the topic you have chosen. So for example, I have with me on the screen a study on skin cancer detection and classification for moles using k-nearest neighbor algorithm. So this study involves identification and classification of moles, if it is belonging to the skin cancer or not. So here, we need to read the whole article and generally dissect the whole article based on the Excel file that we have, which I actually have shown you on our screen. So this one. So for this Excel file here, we have broken this down into several columns with different content. So first column, you can actually rearrange it if you want. It depends on how you want this one done. But for me, this is how I want it arranged. So first one, the first columns would be the authors of the study. So you need to write here, type in here, the different authors of the study, and then the title of the study, and also the publication, where the study was published, the year of publication, and then followed by the objectives of the study. And this objective study is found in the introduction part of the article. And then theory applied also with its methodology. So these are found on the chapter 2, usually under the materials and methods. And this will be very essential in connecting later on the different studies that we have. Then the last part, the last part will be the conclusion or take-home message of our article. So take-home message meaning this is the idea that the researchers would want us to remember when we are done reading their study. Okay, and then the last part would be the knowledge gap. So this knowledge gap here actually is our motivation for doing the study. This knowledge gap is usually found on the recommendations of the study. So we need to look for the knowledge gap of the study. Some of it are actually implied, some are not mentioned, but you can already identify by reading the article as to what is lacking or what is missing in the study. Okay, so that is our motivation. That would be our knowledge gap of the study. So here, this is the conclusive part, meaning this is the highlight of the results, and this is what the study should have included, or what could have been the recommendation of the study. Okay, so I have read this one already. It's actually one of my studies published under ACM. So it's my master's degree thesis. So this is my sample for today. So let's just try to break this down. Okay, so I will not read all the content. You can just browse this one over ACM website. All right, so let's work with. So first thing are the authors. So from first article down to the very last article here. Okay, let's just have a demo of one example. So authors. So the study, we have authors here, 2 authors only. We have NB Linsangan and myself. Okay. Right. So, okay, that's the first one, authors of the study. The next one, the title. So just copy this one, copy the title. Okay, so this is on skin cancer. However, this one will not fit well. So let's try to wrap text here. Oops. Okay. And let's fix this one. Okay. Next one is publication. So this was published, you can see it here, it's from ACM. Okay, published on ICBRA 2018. I'll just copy this one and put it right here for publication. And right, so let's wrap text also. Okay, and rearrange. Check what's best for the studies. Okay. Next thing is the year it was published. This was published year 2018. So this is 2018. And then, okay, let's fit. Let's arrange this one. Okay. So the objective of the study actually is to determine, okay, if the moles are belonging into skin cancer. So it's actually an early detection system. It's actually a project to determine on an earlier stage if the mole is developing into a possible skin cancer. So what's the theory applied here? We actually made use of the ABCD rule, ABCDE rule of dermoscopy. There's actually a rule on how to identify if the mole could belong into the skin cancer, okay, or could be a cancerous one. So it's ABCD rule of dermoscopy. You can browse this one over Google. So as I can remember, it's asymmetry, the border, the color, the diameter, and also the evolution of the mole. And then for the methods here, you just summarize the methods based on what you have understood. So for the methods here, we actually used a Raspberry Pi, a computer as the main processor. Okay. Okay, processor for the image processing unit. So we actually we included in the study a Raspberry Pi. So it's just one of the methods being used. You can add more. As an example, let's just have this one as an example. So in the conclusion part, okay, let's fit it here. Okay. Conclusion part here. So based on the study actually made use only of a few details of our detection. So instead of the ABCDE, it only made use of a few. So here, there are 4 factors considered, okay? And these are the following. So I'll just copy this one, not to just include it on the conclusion. So let me have this one pasted here. Okay. So the scoring system only considered 4 factors. Actually, there are several factors that we can generate from the images that we have. So here, we only consider 4 factors. So we only have here our shortest and greatest diameter. That is to determine the diameter of our mole. And then we have also the equivalent diameter and also the irregularity index. So generally, the color was not totally considered here. And it's just the features of that mole, physical features excluding our um, the texture and the color. So it's more on the diameter side, they focus on it, and also the irregularity index. So actually, there are several more factors that we have available, and we have tested it on several samples. However, it did not provided us with a good result. So only these four factors, when used, when combined, it can actually detect a higher value of a result. So if you happen to read also the abstract after you have check on check on the Mendeley, you'll be able to see that it only showed as around 86.67% as accuracy. So that is for these parameters here. So we actually have a problem also. Part of the knowledge gap here would be this one. Okay. Knowledge gap concern, we have one. Okay. The number of samples, as mentioned in the study. Okay. It's just minimal. Okay. Sorry. I'll put asterisk. Okay. So the samples are actually minimal. So it's actually having or somehow giving us trouble on having more of the accuracy. And say another one, knowledge gap could be, okay? There was no camera. In the final design. So there was no camera use. It was just a photo coming from our archive, which is actually a photo taken by a thermoscope, which is actually a device used to check the image of the mole. So actually the study made use of that photo for analysis. So the future work could be, or the knowledge gap could be, inclusion of camera, increase of the number of samples for the photos, because we have limitations on where to get our photos. And probably we can also include this one on an online basis. So we'll just put it that way. All right. So that is how you complete your literature review matrix for just one study. But here, you are required to read at least 15 for your chosen topic. So this is just a demonstration on how are you going to fill in our table. So you'll have this one in bold, so you'll be able to see it well. So first thing again, it's authors of the study, the title of study, the publication, the year publication, the objectives as mentioned, theory applied, the methods here, conclusion, and knowledge gap. So how will this help you? Okay, say for example, you already also have added several authors on the list. Say for example, okay, we'll just number them. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then until the very last one. Say it's number 12. Okay, and imagine that all of these cells here are already completed, meaning each one has its own entry. Now, the thing here is that you need to identify which studies do have a possible similarity in terms of the knowledge gap, and highlight them or color them with the same color. Say, for example, just an example, for articles 1, article 5, article 6, 4, 5, 6, these are all of the same knowledge gap. So I'll highlight them with the same color. Say for number 2, number 11, and 12, they do have the same knowledge gap also. We'll put them in green, example. And then here, just a quick example. We'll have this one in a different color also. Say purple. And then say this one is in, say, orange. All right. So you'll be able to have that this. Okay. So the articles here will have its own colors on the knowledge gap. And from here, I want you to look for those articles which could possibly answer that knowledge gap. So say look into the articles based on your list, articles on the list that may be able to solve what is lacking from the other study and highlight them based on the color of its knowledge gap. For example, I have read article number 3 on my list, and I found out that the study actually is similar to that of number 1, and it has answered the issue on the camera and the number of samples. So by that, I will be highlighting article number 3 as yellow since it answered the knowledge gap of the yellow one. So to be specific, I can have it on conclusion part, on methods, or on theory. So you can, or if you want, you can just have it select which of the portions would you want to highlight, or you can highlight the whole thing. All right, so I highlight this one as yellow. Okay, so this would mean to me that this article here is the answer for my problem on this ones highlighted in yellow. And then after that, I'll look for another gap, say for example, this green one. So I would look for articles that could possibly solve or could have solved already the problem on green. Say for this one, I was able to read also, say number 4, just for example, just connecting them. Okay. And for the purple one, I have read studies like this one. And so as this one. Okay. And for this orange one here, I have read a study. Say, for example, these two here are possible solutions to this knowledge gap here. So from there, you'll be able to know which of the knowledge gap do have an issue of solution. What I mean is that, is there a knowledge gap which is not yet answered or not yet fully answered based on what you have read? And from there, we can be as specific as possible to the focus of our study. So a while ago, the example is on skin cancer detection. So to be specific, say for example, if this study was not yet answered, this would be my next motivation for creating a new study. So if there's an article here, okay, that does not have any answer, you can again do further investigation on that article, right, and that knowledge gap in specific, because you might not be able to have read it yet, but it's already there, and it just need more readings for you to have that knowledge gap answered. And maybe you can also check if those knowledge gap can be solved by other methods, could possibly be solved by other methods. And from there, you can also modify or you can already innovate your solutions to that particular knowledge gap and make it as part of your next research proposal. And that could possibly be a good update of that study. And also that the matrix would tell you if the study is possible or not, or if the study is already existing or completed or ongoing. Okay, so this matrix now will allow you to have a broader scope of what is happening on that particular topic. Okay, so same as what I did before also, I went into the knowledge gap and looked for possible innovations I can do with all those knowledge gap and with all those answers. Okay, so your next task would be to create your own literature review matrix. Just follow, maybe you can have this one followed to make it easier. Authors, title, publication, the year, objectives, theory applied, the methods, conclusion, and knowledge gap. So for each group, you are required to read at least 15 articles of your chosen topic. And that we will have our first evaluation after you have completed the matrix for those 15 articles. So you are to prepare a short demonstration and explanation of what you have discovered upon completely reading 15 articles. So the goal of the subject would have to get more of those articles. You can have it at least 20 to 25 articles as part of our references to make it more knowledgeable, and we'll be able to be more knowledgeable of the topic, so we would not be able to just duplicate what others have made. So this matrix would also allow you to have a knowledge as to the studies which are done, so that you'll be avoiding already duplication. Okay, and to make your study also publishable enough on when it's done. Okay, so I think that's all for this session, and again, I will see you again for the next session, and hopefully you'll be able to complete our literature review matrix. God bless, and you may now work on this task.